Hey Alice, so I got your question. I'm going to do some of these questions for you. I think you asked for chapter 3 revision 16, and I just snapshotted here for you. I didn't know which ones you want me to do, so I'll just pick a couple for you. So why don't we do A first, where you've got 4 over x squared plus x minus 3 over x squared minus 1. Now the important thing for you to remember is when we add or subtract fractions, they've got to have the same denominator. It's like, just doing, let's say you have a half plus, 4/5. What do we have to do? Well, we can't add, a denominator of 2 and a denominator of 5. We've got to have a lowest common denominator, so we come up with 10, right? So we come up with 10, so we go, okay, how did we make the 2 into a 10? I had to times it by 5, but if I do that, I've got to times the top by 5, right? And for this one, I times the bottom by 2 to make it 10. So I've got to times the top by 2 to keep the fraction equivalent. And I ended with 8. Now I can add it together, right? Now I can add 5 plus 8. So I've got 13 on 10. Same idea here. So I need the lowest common denominator from x squared plus x and x squared minus 1. You can just multiply them together, just like we did the 2 times the 5 to get the 10 on the side. But it's better to sort of be a bit clever and to see if we can factorize to be able to see an easier lowest common denominator. So can you see here, I could factorize out an x in the bottom and I'd be left with x plus 1. And on this side, you should recognize that this is a difference of 2 squares. Right? Because it's x squared minus 1. So we should be able to factorize this as x minus 1, x plus 1. Okay? Now you can see, okay, both of these denominators have an x plus 1. So that's good. They have that in common. But this side's got an x and this side's got an x minus 1. So to have a lowest common denominator, we want a denominator that has all of the factors in it, right? Something that they all go into. Just like how over here we chose 10 because both 2 and 5 can go into 10. So I want something that all of this can go into, yeah? So that means I'll need a factor of x plus 1, and x minus 1. Yeah, I need one of everything for everything in those fractions. So now I think, okay, what do I have to times the left fraction, the bottom there, to turn it into this new denominator? Well, I've got to times it by x minus 1, right? Yeah? So then it becomes this new denominator here. It's already got an x. It's already got an x plus 1. I just need an x minus 1. So that means I've got to times the top by x minus 1. Okay? So if I times the top by x minus 1, I'm going to get 4 times x minus 1. We should put it in front of the brackets. And then on the right, I've got an x minus 1. I've got an x plus 1 already, yeah? But I don't have the x. So I've got to times the top and bottom by x. So then I just get 3x on the top. Okay? Now they've got the same denominator. So now I can just add and subtract like normal, just like how I had over here, the 5 tenths plus 8 tenths. I can add them when they have the same denominator. So let's put this all over the same denominator. X plus 1, x minus 1. And I've got 4 bracket x minus 1, subtract 3x. Okay, and we probably need to expand and collect the top so it looks more nice. So you get 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. And you've still got minus 3x on the end. And then you can see, I can do 4x minus 3x. Don't forget the minus in front of the 3x. So what's that? 4x take by 3x is 1x, or just x minus 4. And then we've got the rest of that. And that's it. That's your fraction. Okay? So that's for subtracting and adding. That's what we have to do. Now, ones like this will not be in your test because it's got the trinomial here down the bottom. So don't worry about that one. Don't worry about these ones because I'm not doing the trinomial ones with you. So yeah, it's none of those questions. But you should be able to do the other ones, okay? With multiplying and dividing, you just need to remember your multiplication and division rules for fractions, okay? So why don't we do, let's do J, because I think you guys tend to forget division more. So with multiplying, remember it's just top times top, bottom times bottom. But for dividing, a little shortcut is to change the times into change the divide into a times, and then we take the reciprocal or flip upside down the second fraction. Okay, I can always go through the proof with you another time again, but that's the shortcut that we have come up with after we did some exploration. So now it's just like a multiplication, and you just go top times top and bottom times bottom. But we can be a bit clever. We should be able to see, is there anything I can factorize? Because if I can factorize out some factors, then I can divide something that's common in the top and the bottom to make it simpler. So can you see that on the bottom here? I could take out a common factor of m, so I can take out m, then I'll be left with bracket m plus 1. Then over here, it's definitely a 5 that's common, so I can take out a 5. So m plus 1, sorry, I apologize. Okay, take out a 5, and then we get n plus 1. Let me fix that. Right, if you want to check, expand it back out and check if you got it right. 5 times m is 5m, 5 times 1 is 5. Yep, that looks good. All over 4. Now this is where, because it's a times, remember, right, it's just top times top, bottom times bottom. So these are all multiplied together. So we're allowed, remember, to divide or cancel. It's better to say divide, but yeah, I can divide out a factor that is common in the top and the bottom. So I can actually go like this, m plus 1 and m plus 1. They're going to cancel each other out because it's like the top divided by the bottom. So it goes away, it becomes 1. So now on the top, you've just got m times 5, right, left on the top. Okay, or I can even write it out like this for you. If you've got m over, there's still an m over here as well, times 5 over 4. And this actually works out nicely because m divided by m is just 1. Right, so we actually just get 1 times 5 on 4. So your answer is just 5 on 4. Okay, so I hope that helps you out, Alex.